Looking back in my life at that moment in time, the way I was eating definitely affected my mood. I made a lot of irrational decisions. You go through periods where I was partying, I was doing things to kind of, I was moody. Like I had moments of like depression. I was never a depressed character, but you'd have down moments and
which is what I mentioned to you, yeah? The highs and lows, yeah.
The highs and lows. So you go through this pattern and you're mistaken it for your feelings, but it's not, it's what you're eating.
Yeah.
And because I'm trying to consume so much food, I have no knowledge about food. So you're constantly going on that journey, as you said. It's very true. The doctor sees me, he's like, "Are you a gambling man?" I was like, "I like to have a little bit of a flutter from time to time, yes." He's like, "You should buy a lottery ticket." I said, "Why is that?" He goes, "You have more chance winning the lotto than surviving that flight." So they were twisted and hemorrhaged. So, and if they were about to burst, and if you burst, you die of sepsis, right? Which is
poisoning, blood poisoning.
Poisoning. So instantly, like, or you I don't know how instant, but you're pretty much dead.
Welcome everyone. Welcome to the Be Thyself podcast by Joanne Laoulach. Today's episode 17. And we have Jason Ballo here. Welcome, Jason.
What's up, Joanne?
Oh my gosh. Jason, what an honor to have you on my podcast.
It's an honor to be here.
Jason is a content creator, was previously a real estate agent for about 20 years. Is that right?
Yeah.
And has been content creating for about 2 years now.
2.5. February 2024. 1st of February 2024, I posted my first video that everybody knows me for now.
Honestly, Jason, I'm not in the real estate agent, like in the industry.
Yeah.
I'm in the health industry, completely different, and I follow different people. But I really took to your videos and it's catchy. Like, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions while we're in, how you thought of it and how you got there. But just for my audience, you're probably thinking, why I brought Jason on, because I'm in the health industry, but I wanted to share Jason's success and how his health also influenced him and how it impacted him.
It was everything.
Can you tell us a little bit about your journey and how you got here?
Yeah, I mean, I got my certificate in real estate when I was 16 years old on my school holidays. But prior to that, when I was 15, I was working in my mother's office. She owns a real estate business in a couple of different locations. They managed, large buildings, residential buildings. Started, doing office admin, 16, got my certificate, started showing properties. My mom showed me start to finish, and I was infatuated with the way my mom showed properties. My dad always loved real estate. So real estate, and my dad's my hero, as kind of most boys, look up to their dads like that. So I always loved real estate. But then my mom had this way of, dressing like absolutely spectacularly, product knowledge on point, showing a house, big smile, knowing everything about everything, start to finish. By the time you would walk out of the apartment, you're signing a check or whatever it is, signing a lease, signing a contract, that property's gone, And so I was kind of always obsessed with that or infatuated with that, and kind of worked every Saturday since. And, I've been in real estate ever since. I mean, I've dropped out a couple of times. I've done a couple of other things, which I'm sure we'll get into, a lot of failures. And I got to a point where in 2023, I had a situation where, I had a garnishee order on me. I don't know if people know what that is, but my wages were garnished. I had a business that went wrong. These guys were chasing me for a minute and, found out that I was having twins. Garnishee order it was July 2023, August 2024. Got the garnishee order. I was left with like $500 a week. And so I literally had no money. I'm having twins. I'm freaking out. My only move at that point was basically start a company, because I was working for an agency at the time. It was like I had to start a company because I knew they couldn't touch me inside the company, and I'd paid these guys enough anyway. And as a father, that's all you're thinking about is your family. So I said, fuck it. I'm just going to start a company and become a buyer's agent. I'm very good at this practice. I know I can back myself. And so, my ex-wife, she said to me, she goes, "Jace, you should do some videos." And I came up with this idea. The first thing that came to my head was, okay, I'm going to do this video, talk about price up front, because there was all these things that was frustrating me against what other real estate agents were practicing at the time, which they still practice, withholding prices, not giving you the size of the land, not giving you the full specs, not giving you the full tour of the house. Everything was a bit too polished. First video I posted, and so I started my company. The reason why I started those posts was really so I can sit in front of, you become my client, right? So I'd be like, Joanne, all right, did you like this house on 22 Smith Street? Did you like this one at 23 Kent Street? Did you like this on the high side of the street? Did you like this renovation? Did you like this, projects, that was this rundown, or did you want to do something that was more cosmetic? I had something to talk about, I could show. That was the only purpose of those videos, not to become rich and famous. Absolutely not. Like, not to become famous, not to become successful, nothing like that. It was literally just like, because I knew I would get clients. I already had a client that was willing to sign with me. Shout out to Brian Donner. Love you guys, always give them my first thanks every time, because they signed with me in January of 2024, and so very, very grateful to those two. That started my journey. And then 1st of February I posted that first video, 350,000 views, and then I started getting engagement. Hey, can you find me this? Hey, can you do this? Can you do that? And I knew in an instant what had happened. And I had content already backed up, because me being me, I'm just a workhorse. I just had everything ready, because again, that purpose. Every 3 days or 4 days I was posting, frequency of posts increase. I linked up with my boy, Paul Ayash. Shout out to my boy, Paul Ayash. He's a very good friend of mine. He was ahead in the Instagram space, really polished Instagram in the hospitality space. He's a hospitality consultant. He mentored me, and we kind of just started polishing the platform a little bit better, and just made it a bit sharper, and started having a camera guy. I was doing it all myself. Then I had a camera guy, Lewis, who started with me. He was just a big fan of mine, and I love that boy to death. And then as time passed on, we got Luca now. Luca's full-time with me, and now we've got a full-time editing team and assistant and all that. So we slowly built up, and so that's kind of how I got here. Just work, and then content took off. I took it like a job, took it very professionally, as I always do and always have. And now I'm here.
Love it. You said you're a workhorse. I actually, that's exactly what I am. So always thinking of what the next stage, like what's next, what to do, and how to grow. And I'm like, I have a growth mindset. So you probably have the same, because you're always looking at what can we do to expand, right?
No off button.
Sorry?
No off button.
Absolutely. I have no off button. I have, though, my recovery methods. Like, I have things to help me slow down. All right. That's amazing. So would you say at that point, if that thing didn't happen with the how you had the money taken off you, was that right? What did you call it? Sorry, I forgot.
It's called a garnishee order. It's when the courts order to garnish your wages. So they got to go through the courts, the whole system. Okay. Actually, there was another moment that because I had negotiated with them a chunk of money to get out. And at the time, my parents were doing a deal. They were acquiring another business, as they do. My parents, those wogs save up every chunk of change and then put it into an asset that makes them more money, or whatever the case may be. So they were just about to acquire another asset and acquire another business. And so I went to them first, because, my parents are my best friends as well. We're very tight like that. And I said, hey, can I, I've negotiated this, can you spare me some money, right? It was a large chunk of money. They said, no, we can't. My dad was like, listen, we can't, we're about to do this still. I said, look, I have to ask you, because you would have said, why didn't you ask us? So at least we crossed that bridge. And I was like, it's all good. So that was actually, and I thank him every day for that. No, that was the greatest no I've ever received in my life, because if they said yes, I would not be here today. I would not have the business that I have and everything that comes with that. So if I didn't have if I didn't have that garnishee order event, definitely not. I would not be here. And then the no from my parents as well was the best no I've ever received in my life.
Because you were like, what? That I have to make something happen. You're kind of like, I've got to do this, right?
Yeah. I mean, it it was just the series of events, the way in which it unfolded. If they had said yes, I would have kept my job as a real estate agent. I would have tried to progress my career. You know, in the real estate world, I was always very different. I was always anti-establishment. Like, I never believed in the way they were currently doing things. I always looked to do things differently, and everybody that knows me in the business know this to be true as well. It's like, I've always tried to do things differently. I've had self-published books. I've had websites and lead pages and this, and I was doing the things ahead of time. And so, you know, the fundamentals of real estate, I love showing houses, working with buyers. And so those were the practices that I took on and I did really, really well at. And I love doing. I love showing houses and ingrained in product detail and turning up to auctions and looking at open homes and understanding what prices are trading at the time, how the market moves. Very interesting to me, has always been since I was a kid. And so what's, you know, I guess what that kind of turned into would never have happened. You know, this would never have happened because I would have stayed in that same lane as selling houses and just going, okay, yes, I've got to follow these practices. You've got to do X, Y, and Z to be a successful real estate agent. Unfortunately, there's a lot of great real estate agents out there that probably like to do what I'm doing, but you can't do both. You can't do the content that I'm doing because it puts you out there too much, and they all say, no, 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 no. We don't like that. You can't disclose price. You can't do this. You can't do that. But I'm Jason Ballo giving my opinion on things and whatever. So it's entertaining. It's catchy. People, you know, hated my voice up until
I love
2
your
years
voice.
ago. And then everyone's like, I love your voice. I'm like, okay,
Can
cool.
I just say it? This is what $5 million gets you in Sydney.
I love it. You want a job?
I was like, can I? You know, honestly, I'm not in real estate, but you just stood out. And obviously people are now sourcing you to do their work. You know, I had a family member recently used you as well. And that's when I had seen you, when I saw you out. I was like, you just recently just did something for a family friend. It's really catchy because I'm currently creating something myself, like a little business venture. So I'm thinking of like a logo or a slogan or a tune or a beat. So that's why I actually admire what you do, because that I feel like is your signature. That's real, like it's real impactful as well. And I just said it right now, right? Because that's how I know you as. I know you as, this is what $5 million gets you in Sydney. So no, it's really, really clever, and like you should be very proud of yourself for creating something like that. Now, this podcast is all about health, right? And I remember having a quick discussion with you. You were telling me about some of your health challenges that you had.
Yeah.
Now, I know for me, my health is like number one because it keeps me on that horse, the workhorse, and going and, you know, feeling energetic and what's next. Can you tell us a little bit about your health journey and how that impacted you along the way?
So I was I'm very stringent on what I eat and what time I eat, how I eat, the foods that I consume. So since, call it the last 10 years, I'm 38 now, call it from 28 till now, I literally eat the same things every day. And so I followed a certain protocol in my life. I'd linked up with Jess Murphy, who's a really great PT. She taught me about eating. I never knew how to eat back back 10 years ago. We didn't have all this going on, like
the knowledge,
resources, people like yourself coming out with the passion and nutrition, because no one really knew. Like everyone's like, you just eat, so it's really become a thing now. And once you learn that skill, because it is
a skill, then
you can just kind of eat. And that's what I do now. But I was calorie counting for the longest time. My fitness pal, I ate, I had my 2 eggs with 120 grams of egg whites in a wrap with sriracha. It was like, that was my breakfast every day. Then I'd have a chicken wrap where I'd air fried it and I'd crumbed it. And like I used to do all this. It was like literally the same. I'd have wraps and I'd just take these wraps to my office and people would be like, and I was always looking good and lean and fit and whatever. And people like, my colleagues would always be like, Jason, what do you eat? Like, what are you eating? I'm like, the same thing I ate yesterday. It's like the same. And they're like, oh, I should, how it is. You've probably heard it all before. I should probably, and then they'll go get, this banh mi or whatever it is the case may be. I'm like, I don't deviate. I eat the same things day in and day out. And so,
because you know what you're putting in your mouth, you know how it's going to make you feel, mainly how it makes you feel, and how you feel is actually so important to your day-to-day progress.
Totally. Yeah. So if you, for me, I want to maintain, I wanted to get a 6-pack and then maintain the 6-pack. That was really the thing, right?
Yeah.
Straight up, and so, because I was like so sick and tired of not getting there, and it took me into my late 20s to get there. So finally I got there, and then I was like, okay, just going to maintain it. So how do I maintain it? I just eat like this. And then it's just years of refining. And then when you go out to dinner, you know exactly what to eat, what portion. It's just sort of dialed in. And sometimes you kind of know, okay, it's going to be, a bit higher in calories because of the way it's been cooked, but it doesn't really matter. It's net over the week. It doesn't really impact you too much.
Yeah.
And so that actually kept me steady, and my training every day kept me really like dialed in. So that was really my, I guess, the thing that was constant in my life because I had so many failures. So when you're eating good and you're working out every day and you're getting that in, you have that. It's like an easy win you can get every day if you can just focus on that. I mean, everything else that you get in life, you can bounce back from. You can just go, well, it's like when you get off track with your eating or your training, what do? You just go back to your
normal regular
routine
get back on the horse.
Get back on the horse, get back on track. And then you kind of go back into, and it's always a couple of days, right? It's a couple of days of good eating, and then you're like, oh, I feel good again. I'm not as bloated, or I'm not as this. Oh, yeah, I can see this. And so that's, I can fit into this outfit or whatever. And so that keeps you, that kind of thing really keeps you
consistent, would you say?
a really positive feeling. Like, if you fail in business, or if you fail in this pitch, or if you fail in this job, or if you fail in one moment in your, it's only a matter of just doing a couple of activities to get back on the horse. So it's more than just the eating and getting that feeling good, but it's the, how do you say, the mindset of like knowing that, that you're not too far away off, or you have the ability, certainly you have the confidence in knowing that you can do something like this every day. And that's what it was for me. Honestly, that kept me on track. That kept me sane. And even though I was constantly failing, I knew at some point, if I just train, like my training, like my eating, if I just keep going at it, eventually I will get to the destination that I want to get to.
Yeah, and like consistency is key. And like you said, if you fall off the horse, you know what to do to get back on the horse.
That's right.
For years and years, I ate what people, like I'm Lebanese, so our background, the Lebanese traditional meals. But I realized at some point that actually wasn't even serving me. So I went and got a genetic test and gene and gut test to figure out exactly what I should have and what I shouldn't have. And those things, like say you got off the horse, some of those things might be something that sparks your insulin. And if you're sparking your insulin, then what it does, it gets you like a dopamine high, like a fake dopamine hit, and then that can give you a crash.
Yes.
And when you hit those feelings of crash, then you're constantly on the high and low, and you never get off that, and that actually can dysregulate your mood. But when you're having food that that works for you, it actually regulates your mood. It gives you more consistency long term. And then you know what to do and what not to do. So there's I love that you said that girl, that trainer, she sort of directed you in that way. And that was kind of that pivotal moment where you go, I'm going to have this consistently, I'm going to eat this regularly. But even further to that, if you did a whole gene test, you can actually eat foods that you're not allergic to, that can not cause you so much bloating, can cause neurological disorders. Some foods can actually impact some people in so many ways that can cause them neurological disorders and also change their mood.
Well, it all comes from the gut, right?
Yes, exactly. And you mentioned your gut to me once.
Yeah.
Like you said you had, what was it?
I had a twisted bowel.
Okay.
So on my I had a twisted bowel when I was 22. I was telling you the story. I
Yes,
think.
that's why I needed you to talk about it. Yeah.
When I was 22, I think it was, going on a holiday to the US for a couple of weeks with the boys, as you do. The night before, I just got really sick. Get to LA, throwing up everywhere, barely make the flight. I'm in agonizing pain in my stomach. Get on another flight because, I'm a boy and I don't think like that. And I just get on another flight to New York. So I get to New York, all sorts of pain, 2 a.m. in the morning. It's winter, it's December 19th or 20th. And it's cold. It's cold. So we get to this hotel. Boys go out, I'm staying in. Next day, I tried to go out. I was walking with a hump. I was so much pain. Go to a colon specialist. I knew something was up. Go to New York. He says, you need to go straight to the hospital. You need to go straight to the ER. After having a look at me, turns out I had a bowel obstruction. So my bowels had twisted. So then my bright idea was, okay, fuck this. I'm getting out of here. A guy walked into my room, with a $20,000 US bill for, I was there for 19 hours, 20 hours. I was like, yeah, cool, man, no worries. Why don't you come back in a couple of hours and I'll sort myself out. So he leaves. I unplug myself from the wall and I eject myself out of that hospital, James Bond style. I'm like looking out. I'm like looking this way. I'm like, I go into a disabled only toilet. I haven't seen myself in a couple of days. Like I haven't looked at myself in the mirror. I go into this bathroom. I look at myself. I am skinny. And I was 75 kilos at the time. Now I'm probably a little bit above that now, but that's kind of my weight, was my weight. I probably fluctuate a little bit higher now, but so I was a decent sized guy, always training, always eating, blah, blah, blah. And then I was skinny, like skinny. I hadn't eaten in 5 days at this point.
Wow.
I was nil by mouth. Anything, I couldn't eat any food. I couldn't drink any water. Like I was dehydrated, all that sort of stuff. So the only fluid that was coming in was the IV. So anyway, I take this thing out of my nose, which was this pump that was sucking out the gunk from it's like all black. So when people talk about gut health, I'm like, I'm the original guy. I know the darkness that comes from there, and it's just not. And you make that connection,
Yeah. So you're saying at the time that you had that feeling, your mood was obviously super low, right? At the time.
Yeah, like I think looking back in my life at that moment in time, the way I was eating definitely affected my mood. I made a lot of irrational decisions. You go through periods where I was partying, I was doing things to kind of, I guess, I was moody. Like I had moments of like depression. I was never a depressed character, but you'd have down moments.
Lows.
And
which is what I mentioned to you. Yeah. The highs and lows. Yeah.
The highs and lows. So you go through this pattern and you're mistaken it for your feelings, but it's not, it's what you're eating.
Yeah.
And because I'm trying to consume so much food, I have no knowledge about food. So you're constantly going on that journey, as you said. It's very true. And then, anyway, so I end up flying home that evening, 30-hour flight, almost died. Get back to Sydney, 26th of December. I'd left on the 19th, still hadn't eaten at this point. The doctor sees me, he's like, are you a gambling man? I was like, I like to have a little bit of a flutter from time to time, yes. He's like, you should buy a lottery ticket. I said, why is that? He goes, you have more chance winning the lotto than surviving that flight. He goes, your bowels are, you had
really tight.
Well, no, hemorrhaged. So they were twisted and hemorrhaged. So, and if they were about to burst, and if you burst, you die of sepsis, right? Which is
poisoning, blood poisoning.
Poisoning. So instantly, like, or you're I don't know how instant, but you're pretty much dead. And so I get into operating theater like that afternoon or the next morning. I can't even remember the series of events, but straight away. And came out, and I just remember like no more pain internally, but just the pain from the scar. So the scar is pretty hectic. I don't know if you can see it, but it's like pretty like.
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah.
So, and like they cut me, and it was like this much. They cut this much off almost 30 centimeters off my bowel. And so from that moment in my life, I went on a completely different journey of eating. Really.
So that also made you change your lifestyle, really?
Made me change my lifestyle. So then I started fasting, or eating later, or whatever people want to call it. and then I got to points where I was eating once a day or even twice a day. Now I try to eat 2 or 3 times a day at max, give my digestion a really long break. You realize you don't need that much food.
You don't.
And,
you don't actually need that much.
And if you get to a point where you understand that you have a high protein diet, you can maintain your muscle mass, which is very important. You need fiber to get everything.
Yeah, you need nourishment. You need vitamin, like you need, your greens, your vegetables, they all have nourishment as well.
Yeah, but that's what you need to consume. Everything else, like I love chocolates.
I love it too.
Like
I love it's my weakness.
Like I'm a heroin addict, like when it comes to chocolate. So like I'll have chocolate almost every other day, right? I'll have a piece here, piece there, but I know my calories, right? So I know it's not swinging one way or the other. Is it great to have sugar? Probably not, but I don't really care. I eat really well. I'm really fit, so like I can get away with that as well,
But also the source of chocolate, like I do sometimes like a vegan chocolate.
I'm not interested. I like the
real dairy milk.
I like the crack. That's sold
the real deal.
The real deal.
Yeah. Sometimes I love the real deal. Sometimes the vegan ones are not enough for me. Like I'm like, this is not enough. I need the real deal, but in balance. Like, and obviously we alongside a healthy lifestyle as well.
Yeah, totally.
Jason, you said you had like highs and lows at some point when you were eating, not well. So there are actual ingredients in our foods that if you have some genetic variants, like in your pathways, you don't metabolize and convert it over. And so what it does, if you're not absorbing that nutrient, because you're not converting it over to get the nourishment in the cell, neither are you excreting it. So if it's not actually leaving your body, it circulates your entire bloodstream and it causes havoc. And what it can do is it can block your folate receptors. If you block your folate receptors or like your cells, like the receptors in the cells, it actually causes more havoc than normal. So you're thinking that you're having something that's so nourishing, right? And you think that you're getting the best out of it, but it could actually be so harmful for your body.
And how do you find this gene tests?
Yeah, you can do gene tests, you can do gut tests, you can find out exactly what is good and not good for you. So I found that out. There are populations of people that like, sort of that food doesn't work well for them. Yeah. And so I avoid that food because if you don't absorb that nutrient, the one I was telling you about, and neither are you excreting it and you block it, you lack that ingredient in your cell. And then when you're undernourished in that ingredient, so you become undernourished. You think you're having it, but you're not. So
what about like a food allergy test?
You can do food allergies, but look, we can be allergic to food in our body, but also we can build up an intolerance to that food if we eat it frequently long term.
Sure, that makes sense.
So you can have both. Like, and I was saying, like, I love eggs. I will have eggs all the time. But there was a time in my life that I'd have eggs every single day, no doubt, and the same food. And when I did an allergy test, I showed I was allergic to eggs because I had overconsumed eggs. And it could have been a lot of other things, like if your detox pathways are not working properly in your body, if you actually have like say your gut is like, you got gut dysbiosis, malabsorption, all those affect the reading of your allergy test, or you could just be allergic to that food in your gene type.
I literally have the same breakfast every day, and that's eggs on toast.
And on toast. And if you probably get a test.
And when I say breakfast, it's like 10 a.m. or 11 a.m., whatever.
Yeah, like a brunch.
Well, yeah, I don't eat first thing in the morning.
I'm the same. I can't eat in the morning. I just feel absolutely sick. All right. So what age were you when that happened? The bounce?
22, 23.
23. And sorry, if you don't mind me asking, how old are you now?
38.
You're 38 years old. So that was a long. So since then, would you say you applied all those health protocols? Did you see an improvement in your career and in your life since you'd made those changes?
Yes. There's a lot of other things at play. However, the biggest benefit I've seen is the way I'm feeling now, because when you're in moments where you're feeling the squeeze of life, things aren't going well financially, especially as a male, and you're trying to come up in that space, in that world.
Something else has to feel good.
Yeah. So, but you're also, there's other things that are carrying on. And so honestly, I feel the best I've ever felt today because of the practices that I installed way back then. When you're kind of going through it, I just leaned on the results I was getting. I was looking good, staying in shape, going to the gym,
And feeling good.
feeling good. And that's what just kept me going. And now it's like, with everything else going with my career. So obviously those feelings are, in, enhanced, right? You feel
like
much
a
better.
euphoria. It's like a euphoria feeling. Yeah.
And you're like, I'm glad the 23-year-old me made those decisions. It's like that.
Absolutely. Do you think if you were eating that way then, do you think you would be where you are now?
It's a tough question to answer. I don't think if I made any other decision than the decisions that I have made, I'd be where I am right now. I just think how things are meant to be are meant to be. And I think the way you design things in your life, and I was very thoughtful about the man that I wanted to design, the guy that I wanted to create, the avatar that I wanted to sort of form. And, I'm not a video game guy, but people like to play video games and stuff, and choose your character and you build, well, I'm this outfit and you do this. You can see me, I have a very specific outfit choice. I like to be jacked. I like to have a 6-pack. I like to eat healthy. I like to wake up a certain time. I like to, I like to do certain things in my life because that's the guy that I designed all those years ago. And it all comes down to food. At the end of the day, people, you can train as much as you want. People have these runs or run clubs, whatever it is that you want to do.
Yeah.
It does not matter if your eating is terrible.
You won't do justice.
It's all a fucking waste of time.
Yeah. The thing is, though, I've noticed in some of my times that I've been training, if I train more, say cardio, I'd also eat more. So I had to change my style of training so that I could cater just for the appetite. Like I'd crave more sugars and carbohydrates, And I think here I am, I'm doing lots of cardio, but I realized that it was actually not really doing good for me.
You burn more calories in your everyday life than you do going to the gym anyway. So you don't really need cardio is really not that important. I mean, for heart health, yeah, sure, but it's really not as significant as being in a calorie deficit and just eating in that fashion. You're the expert in this. I'm sure you, if you feel the same, but that's just what's worked for me, and that's what drops weight, because obviously, like fat and this whole thing is always this thing, right? It was the most annoying thing I'd ever hear, because guys always come up to me and say the same thing. Oh man, you're in shape, and then they give you an excuse as to why they're not in shape or whatever. Right?
Yeah,
you probably get the same, right? I'm like, listen, it's very simple. Fat, like people are like, oh, I'm going to bulk up, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Fat does not convert into muscle. This whole, like, they're two very different organs.
Yeah, that's right.
Like, what are you even talking about? Yeah. And like, everyone's like, yeah, but he's fat, but then he'll like grow up and he'll turn it. Like, no. Way fat dilutes out of the body, or how it comes out of the body is through carbon dioxide, right? Like, it's just, that's how it comes out of your body. It's not like, it doesn't convert into anything, except for carbon dioxide. So, having that as your foundation is the most important. And then obviously having an active lifestyle where you are active and you're doing your thing, you want to tone up, you want to do this, you want to do that. For me, the best form is just, for any individual, is always to maintain some level of weight training. Because
more of that lately.
Yeah, because obviously muscle helps you burn more calories, right? Just I don't know what the science is, but there's a science. I don't know what the actual thing is. I hope I'm not wrong here. Please fact check me if I'm wrong.
It's great for anti-aging as well.
It's great for anti-aging. People, start to lose muscle mass. And so then their bone density starts to deteriorate after a certain age. I think it's 70 maybe, or 60, or I'm not too sure the age. But so just lifting weights just for that is really important. Sylvester Stallone turned 80. Shout out to Sylvester Stallone. He's my hero, my idol. I've wanted to be Sylvester Stallone since I was like 12 years old. And so, like, look at him. The guy's jacked. He's 80 years old and he's jacked. That's my dream, So, you kind of need to have that in your mind. It's good to be a forever game. It's not just I want to look for summer, which is what I think a lot of people go
They
on.
do. They go like high and low, like and
Yeah. Again, the dips and the troughs.
exactly. That's what I was
Yeah.
saying. So it's like not long term gain. It's kind of like, oh, I've got this. I've got to do this for this.
Yeah.
Like short term goals are amazing, right? So say I am in summer and I might have a little bit more carbs. Sorry, in winter than I do in summer. But it's not overloaded. It's not like high, and then, oh, I've got 3 months to, get in shape before summer kind of thing. You did say that you like trimmed and you look good and the best that you've ever looked, but I do think genetics does have a role to play in it. So some people say, I do think you had a natural build like that, but you've probably just amplified that natural build as well.
Not really. I mean, yes.
And I've known you before.
Genetics.
I knew of you before, so I actually know that you had a natural way and build.
Yes. But if you look at photos of me 8 years ago, you're like, who's this skinny kid? Like, who's this guy that was just skinny?
Okay.
So yes, my father is very vascular. So I'm a very vascular individual. People look at my arms and my legs.
Yeah.
I'm very vascular. So that's the best genetic gift anyone can ever receive.
That's a good genetic gift.
Best genetic gift. The way the bone forms off the shoulder is genetics. How much you work at it is not, right? That's effort. No matter what the genetic structure is, the game is still the same. You know what I'm saying? Like, reduce your body fat, increase your muscle mass. Like, that's the game. So how you come out at the end and how you look, you cannot compare yourself to others. I can't compare myself to Chris Bumstead, who looks like he's been chiseled out of a rock. The guy's put in a lot of work, but, being 6'1", whatever he is, 6'2", genetically, an absolutely gifted athlete in the ability that he has to lift heavy weights, the way his muscles form off his bones. So that's, obviously you need that in order. I mean, you see all these guys in the Olympia and they're all 4%, 3%, 2% body fat.
Yeah.
All of them.
Yeah.
What separates the difference? Genetics, right?
Yeah.
And that's just a subjective thing at the end of the day. But,
But their lifestyles can support the genes or not. Like I am genetically prone for more. I found out my genetics.
right.
Puffiness, like I get puffy and I'm still prone for that.
Yeah.
But I could actually be.
Is that sodium? What is that?
Yeah. So I actually have a dysregulation from my in and outer cells of regulating potassium to sodium.
Okay.
Right. And so I take like nitric oxide, like beetroot extract powder, because that helps.
But this is the thing, you know how, like, you work hard enough to figure these things out.
But I'm still got the susceptibilities. So if I fall off that bandwagon a little bit, or if I have a high cortisol kind of month, I notice the difference.
Yeah.
And if I've got I've got probably $1,000 worth of supplements at home just for my genetic pathways and setups, like all the things that I know.
Yeah, okay.
And I literally just got a B and MAG shot done yesterday. I do glutathione C regularly because I don't have enough glutathione, which is anti-inflammatory
and antioxidant.
Antioxidants.
Yeah.
So the puffiness is not only just from
glutathione's very, very good.
Yeah, glutathione.
For males as well, for motility.
Yes, for motility. Yeah. And do you know why? Because it actually reduces oxidative stress.
Oh, is that right?
Yes. And they even did recently, JFK and Trump, they just released a thing saying that Tylenol causes autism.
Tylenol?
Yeah. Now,
what's Tylenol?
Tylenol is like a paracetamol.
Paracetamol, yeah.
But then they actually the science proved it wasn't just Tylenol. It's what Tylenol did. Tylenol reduced the glutathione. And so a woman who's already got a lack of glutathione increased her chances of getting that glutathione to be reduced, and then that increases oxidative stress and inflammation. So that decreases the cell health that is linked to what we talked about, which was autism. Right? So, and everything's the state of your health. So if you work on your cell health, you anti-age, you get less inflammation. So, and how do you do that? You reduce your inflammation, you increase your oxidative stress, you increase your oxygen, your blood flow. I have a tendency to bruise easily. And
What's
it wasn't
called?
Is that
what are they called? There's a thing, when you cut and like you just there's a name there's
I don't
a name for it. Oh my god, I always do
right.
this.
Yeah, that's okay when you think of it. But
Yeah.
and then I found out in my genetics, like I had low red blood cells, but also like a high oxidative stress, so low blood flow as well,
Okay.
which has got to do with the glutathione that was originated from your methylation pathway. So that's why they are genetics. Now, I'm educated and I have invested so much in my well-being,
Yeah.
and I still don't have it right 110% because as you age as well, so you get older, things just start to slow down regardless of what you do and lifestyle and stuff. Imagine our parents, I just think to myself, imagine them, like you said, they weren't into health. They had no idea about the stuff that we know. They were just working, like just to sort of provide for their families. Now our education process is like we have access to so many things that everyone, I think, should do a genetic and gut test because that would actually tailor their exact makeup.
Totally.
And then it's like, okay, this is what you need to be the best you, to like, and if you fall off that bandwagon, guess what? You can use that protocol as your source to get back on that bandwagon.
Totally, yeah. The way I kind of teetered on that is, just being a guinea pig to myself, feeling good, after eating certain things, I got to a point of eating the same things every day because those are the things that I knew guaranteed
would work for you.
Were working for me.
Yeah, because they're working for you. Yeah, and you found out, and it takes a while. Took you 25? Till 25, maybe?
Yeah, maybe a bit more, 27, 28. Yeah.
So you're experimenting, figuring it out.
But now I don't deviate. I mean, I'll change some flavorings. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like add a chili sauce here or whatever.
Yeah.
Although that I know, but I don't really have... I don't have too many fluctuations anymore.
Yeah, that's good.
Apart from alcohol, but that's another story.
Yeah, but then even with that, you know that you're not doing it right when you're having it.
Totally.
But then you know what to do to sort of clear detox.
KFC, for sure. Zinger box.
Fried food. No, that's not the best. That's the worst. That gets you on the bandwagon again.
I'm only being truthful,
Yeah, I love that. All right, so you mentioned at some point that when you said you hit not rock bottom, but you hit a point where you were like, I need to work something out. I need to sort this out, whether it was career and it was your health. Can you tell us more about what happened and how this motivated you in the content creation? I know you touched on that a little bit. Would you say that you said your parents didn't give you what you asked for, and then you had that court thing? What was it? I don't know the name.
It's fine.
Garnishi. That was your moment that you were like, right, I need to.
That's exactly the moment.
And you said, and someone inspired you to act.
So I had to think about what I was going to do. So I get the Garnishi order. So I find out I'm having twins in July. That's how I know about the glutathione and the motility, because I had to regulate myself. People know what that means. They know what that means. But, I had to increase my motility at the time. And so I was on glutathione injection. So that works really, really well. And so it ended up working so well, in fact, that we found out that we're having twins, right? And it's like, find out you're having twins, and it's like, you're like, wow, okay, I'm having twins. And I wasn't, and I was ecstatic, of course, but also nervous because I didn't quite hit the stride of my career, didn't have that much money to my name, and all those types of things go through your head because you become Russell Crowe in A Beautiful Mind. All the numbers start appearing in the sky. You're like, oh, wow, that's 2 of everything. Wow. How much is that going to cost me? And then those twice the school fees, and 2 of this, and 2 of that, and 2 of that, and 2 of this, and 2 of that. And so I'm like, okay, cool. And then a couple of weeks go by, and August rolls around. One of the boys calls me, one of the guys, the directors own the business, good friends of mine. Still to this day, good friends of mine. Shout out to the guys. They go, he goes, Jake's got to speak to you about something. I said, what's that? He goes, we got to serve these notice, blah, blah, blah. I had to garnish your wages and tell me this whole thing. I said, all right, man, cool. No worries. He's like, oh, what are you going to do? I said, we'll have to be what it is, whatever. So I guess at that point I started thinking about the moves that I need to make. And so I started to try and work out, well, what I'm going to do here. I ended up getting married in September the following month. So it's a crazy 3-month period. And then after that, I sort of sat my wife down. I said, listen, well, my ex-wife at the time, well, my ex-wife now, my wife at the time, I said, listen, I want to be a buyer's agent. I want to start a company, because that was the only logical solution I could take. I couldn't become an employer anywhere else because they'd garnish my wages. There's a 12-year garnish
12
fee.
years.
Yeah,
Oh my
it's 12
gosh.
years. So
Wow.
no matter where I go, my wages will be garnished. I was like, fuck those guys. That's another story for another time. And so
So
And
that
so-
was your way. That was your idea.
yeah, and so she obviously started crying. It was like, you're changing your career, da da da. I was like, well, this is what, like, tears dried up. And she's like, actually, you'd be really great at this. I know you've been doing this some time. You'd be really good. I know you can do this. Da da da. I was like, yeah.
You grew up doing it.
Well, I
It's your
grew
bread
as
and
mom,
butter.
but it's my whole life.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, she's had a moment of freak. She was 6 months pregnant or whatever at the time, 5 months pregnant, 4 or 5 months pregnant. So she was like, obviously in that state, but she was good, And then so she said, look, you should do some videos. And she got kind of really excited. And I said, I don't really want to do any of that. I just want to focus on my clients. I want to build my thing up and focus on my practice. She goes, I think you should do videos. So I had this idea. So I was like, okay. So a couple of weeks go by. I'm thinking, okay, what am I going to do? Videos. What am I going to do? And I thought, I've done videos like this before. Like I've got one of my friends sent me a video that I did, like the videos that you see from like 10 years ago. Exact same style, format.
Oh, really? So you
Yeah.
actually had that, like,
Yeah.
this is...
No, not
Oh,
that
not
part.
that.
Not that part. No,
Yeah.
no. Just the tuck pointed facade. You've got the herringbone floors that transition into this
Yeah.
sexy, beautiful marble skirting board with this, like, into the island bed. So, like, just all of that. Like, I was always that guy, like, always passionate about that type of thing. And I could articulate it very well. I could sell it very well. And so I have a video like that. And so, but I just kind of did. So I thought about doing a video like that. And I was like, I'll just do, this is what $2 million will buy you in Sydney. And then I'll go into the suburb and then I'll direct it. And I just kind of come up with this. And then I told my wife at the time, I was like, so I'm going to do, she goes, I don't really care. Just do something, just do it. It sounds good enough. Just do it. She just wanted me to do like something like that. Again, the only reason why I did these videos, the only thing that I had in mind was, I'm going to sit with Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, and I need to explain to Mr. and Mrs. Buyer through my hard work and through my product knowledge and through my market knowledge that I know what the hell I'm talking about. And the way I can do that is by showing them, not telling them. So I would sit in front of them and I would say, and this was all going through my head at the time, I was like, I'm going to sit with them and I'm going to say, see this house here at 22 Hall Street? Bondi is a 4-bedroom semi. It was renovated. It's got a 10-year-old renovation. It sold for $3.75 million, blah, blah, blah. If you spend $500,000 doing X, Y, Z, it could be into this. Would you have a budget? Like, it's something to talk about. It's a talking piece, right?
Of course, yeah.
That was the only intent. So I go into start shooting these videos with that intent in mind. So I did 6, 7, 8, 10 videos, 12 videos. I don't even know. I can't even remember how many I did. 1st of February was like 7 p.m. and in bed, it's like almost not, 35 weeks pregnant. No, 36 weeks pregnant. My ex 36 weeks pregnant. She's doing the first post, like just in bed, 7 p.m. I'm like, okay, no worries. What do you think of the caption? What do you think of this caption? Yeah, okay, no worries. And I just edit it on CapCut. My best friend, Chris Fade, right? Shout out to Chris.
Oh, yeah.
He showed me how to use CapCut when he was here in Australia. The year before, or one of the years he was here. I mean, we're always together. We went trained one day, and he showed me how to use CapCut. He just videoed me training and I put it together on CapCut. I'm like, what the hell are you doing? He showed me CapCut, so I knew CapCut, and I just had downloaded CapCut, and I put this video together, edited it. She filmed me. She did the front shot. And everything was voiceover. This is what $2 million buys you in Sydney. And the first video was like, this is what $2 million buys you in Sydney.
So it's not the way it was. It's evolved.
Yes.
It's evolved.
And it was just like, alrighty, this house is, and it was still very like low key, real estate-y. I wake up the next day with tens of thousands of views. Like craziness.
And
And
you were
then-
shocked.
and then-
you were shocked, kind of.
Yeah, and then completely. I was like, oh, this is cool. And I'm getting responses, and like I know immediately what's happened. Like something's happened here, and I know like I've created something, like something that people are dialed into. And so next video I post, so then I posted another video, I think just before the twins were born, and then the twins were born on the 6th, and then it was like, actually we were in hospital on the 4th or 5th, last check in. I posted, and a nurse comes and she goes, "You look familiar." And I'm like, I saw my ex. I was like, "Babe, she recognized me from the videos." I'm like Brad Pitt now. She's like, "Shut the fuck up," So shut the fuck up, Jason. I'm like, I'm telling you, she knows who I am.
Yeah.
I was G'ing her up, but reality is like, the kids were born on the 6th. A month, we go to my in-laws. They sort of helped us get on our feet at the time, and so I was literally going out. And I remember like a couple of weeks in or a month in, I'm at Tram Sheds in Glebe, getting my coffee. A guy's beeping the horn. He's like parked in his car. It's like like a mildly rainy day. He's like beeping his horn. Hey, Jason. He's like, "You're that guy from the videos." I said, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh man, how are you?" This and that, So like, it was like instant. Like it was just instant. And then I was like, okay. So then I kept perfecting the videos. I wanted to make them better, and I just got obsessed with it. And I really found a love for creating content. I really love creating content. Me and my boy Luca now, my video guy, we're always looking at new shots. We've just improved the videos again. We're doing drone shots. We're looking at different edit types and different camera angles now. We're trying to refine the video. So we're always trying. And then my thing was always to improve the videos a little bit as we go. Because it's like my diet, you just change a little bit at a time. You can't change the whole thing straight away.
Really, evolution. It's
Evolution.
Like the only way you can actually get really good is by going through different processes and that's just perfection. If I write an essay, it's never the first essay I write down. It's like 5 times revisit.
Totally.
No, I love that. But you know how you said this was what 5 didn't. You know how you said it wasn't to what it was. What made you? That was my next question. What sort of got you to that point? What was your thinking process in that?
I was about half a dozen videos in at this, and I was probably posting every 3 days because I was scared I was going to oversaturate it. Now we're posting multiple times a day. Doesn't oversaturate. People don't get sick of it. It was one every 3 days, 4 days. And so, and it was like instant in the sense that, when the kids come and our friends would come visit us, they'd be like, "This is what," they'd be like, "Oh my God, this house," and everyone was talking about it. Like it was such a talking point that I was like, okay, I was editing a video to answer your question. I was editing a video, and I was going back to old real estate ways. I was not 100% myself when I was a real estate agent. I was this.
You have to pretend like it's to be, follow the rules. Yeah.
Yeah. So the way you see me now, my true form,
That's
it's
your
like
true
who
self.
I am. Yeah. No fucks given. I don't care. I say what I say. I wear what I wear. I dress how I dress. As a real estate agent was not like that. I was like trying to cater to a market, which is the wrong way to go about it. You need to be yourself. Being authentic is everything.
That's your logo.
Yeah.
That's what makes you different.
It's your brand. Your personal brand.
It's your personal brand. Yeah.
And so I was editing a video and I was like, "Oh, this beautiful house in this garden. This is so," and I was like, "No." I'm like, if I'm going to do this.
What would Jason do?
I have to do this my way because I can't see, because I knew I needed to get volume on this. I know I needed to run fast with this because everybody was trying to chase my tail at that point. Everybody was copying me. They still are. The ABC copied my videos last night and everybody's losing it. The guy was sweet enough, the journalist, whatever, I don't even know his name, but he messaged me, he goes, "Man, just a big fan." Everyone is losing their marbles over this.
Wow.
He did 100, the new pool in in I think the Luna Park pool, the Sydney Olympic Park, whatever it is.
I haven't seen it yet, by the way. So
Yeah.
you're letting me know because
It's on my story. I reposted on my story. Actually, I do. I mean, he's out of love. People know who I am, so it doesn't really bother me. And so anyway, and so I was like, okay. So I was like, this is what $2 million buys you in Sydney. 3 months in, me and my ex at the time, my wife at the time, we were having dinner. The kids had just passed that 3 hourly feed mark. And we finally had just some time to like have a bottle of wine and just sort of hang out. And I said, look, what do you think I can do to improve my videos? I'm always looking to improve my videos. She's like, going to these houses, you need to just do a bit more like, you know what I mean? Like emphasis, like this. And then I was like, okay. Literally next house, I just went, this is what $2 million buys you in Sydney. Let's check it out. And then I was shooting a penthouse, and then a couple of months, and then a month or two after that, or maybe a couple of weeks after that, I did this penthouse at Elizabeth Street in the city, and I went, this is what $18 million buys you in Sydney. Let's check it out like this. And then I'm a soccer player. I used to play football. I used to play football growing up, and I love Paulo Dybala. Dybala has this like celebration where he poses like this, right? So the microphone.
Yeah, that's his like logo.
Yeah, and for me, branding, like Cristiano Ronaldo is a suit. He's got his thing, all these soccer players have these celebrations when they finish. And so that was my idea. So I was like, I'll just do it up here. So I went, this is what $2 million buys you in Sydney. Let's check it out. Posted that video literally the next day. Walk up George Street. I was living in the city at the time to get my new phone from Telstra. I've told this story a bunch of times. This guy goes, hey, you're that guy. And it was with his family school holidays. This old Greek guy. I was like, hey, you're that guy. I said, what guy? He goes,
that guy.
So I just kept that ever since.
That's so good.
The Alrighty Legends came from just being I was like, fuck this. That's how I talk. I call people legends. Hey, legend, how are you? Like, Alrighty Legends, house located in Dollar Chill, suburb 7.5 Ks west of the CBD. This is stunning. This sexy 2.5, blah, blah, blah. Like, I just kind of get into it like that.
Yeah.
And that was what was the change. And now I just, I keep evolving as much as I can. And
it'll keep changing you got to change with what's happening in the world. You got to keep up to date.
Yeah.
Like if you own a business, you got to change with how businesses are changing.
Yeah.
So, it's good to see that. And we I look forward to seeing you evolve as well and seeing what you create from here. I've already started to see some other ads that you've been doing as well, brand deals. So that's amazing. And I'm sure you're going to just keep evolving. Like, who knows do you have a scope of where you're like, what you're looking at doing? Can you share with us? Or
so we're building out a media business. We've got a website that's a listing portal that's gonna hit Sydney soon. It'll be Sydney only at this point in time. Basically, it's an off-market portal for listings that people can't find. It's gonna be a bit of a different model. It's a subscription-based business where it's a free listing platform for owners and agents. So if you're an owner, you want to sell your own house, you can go on there. If you're an agent representing an owner, you can go there. It's all for free. And obviously my audience, people buy and sell houses from my platform. So we're going to try and shift that into this platform. The website's done. The market right now is just a bit soft for that. So we're just going to hold on and we're going to just kind of tweak the platform a little bit, but it is ready. We just need to figure out when and where and how we're going to get it out there.
Yeah, that's exciting.
It's just, and we're just building out our team. We're looking to do more content. Obviously, we're looking to do a lot of new things using new tools that are out there. Like, we don't want to go too polished or like too AI, but there are things that we want to be able to represent, like a new development. We can show it coming from the ground with AI and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So we are toying with some of those things at the moment, but we want to just make sure that it just remains on brand. My brand is very much authentic, upfront. What you see is what you're going to get. So we just try and do that in a way that resonates with that. But yeah, it's just just enjoying the surf, just on this wave. I'm riding it, I'm enjoying it, and I thank God every day for it, and that's it,
Awesome, Jason. God bless, and I hope you
Thank
achieve
you.
all your future successes, whatever it is, and you're looking to do. Can you give advice to the audience with their day-to-day struggles and how they could achieve their success? Because I know you've obviously been through your own struggles and you've wanted to achieve the success, but you didn't quite get there at time, and you were frustrated. Could you give the audience some advice, like someone who's trying to achieve that success? Can you give them advice?
Yeah, just stick to what you're doing. Don't change. The most you can lean on at the moment, and you want to be very focused on your diet, your nutrition, your training, and your sleeping. Very important, because you will get to a point, if you stick around long enough, if you hang around the barbershop long enough, you're going to get a cut, right? So the more you hang out in your space doing what you're doing, as long as you can see that progression and you have that self-awareness, it's leading into something, then eventually something will pop off. It has to, because you're putting so much energy into it. You don't want to get to the other side and then be fat and overweight and then enjoying the success. You want to kind of do everything together. That's the real win, right?
Yeah.
Also, you just always want to look good because you want to feel good and you want your insides being great so that you can think and perform at your best at any of those moments. But just stick to it. Don't give up. There are many moments where I could have just gone, you know what, I can just go to American Express or one of these kind of companies and be in their sales team and make $300,000 a year. You know what I mean? And just fuck it. Let me just, you know what I mean? I'll just take that and I'll work Monday to Friday. And so many guys I've seen it that have done that. They've gone into IT sales, or they've gone into corporate banking sales, or
They're diverted. They diverted.
They gave up.
Yeah.
Do not give up.
Okay, so sure.
Don't go get a job. Don't do this. Just minimize your life, minimize your expenses. You're going to have to skip trips and miss out on this and miss out on that and miss out on this. Who cares? Because it's worth the life on the other side, for sure.
Yeah.
I've
done that. I've done exactly what you said. I've minimized, I've skipped the trips, and I've been a workhorse, literally. And everyone's in Europe right now, but I actually have no desire. I have no FOMO.
I have every desire. I want to be there tomorrow as well.
But no, literally, because I'm so excited about what I'm creating here.
You're creating something cool, though.
Yeah. So I actually have I'm going to go next year. That's not a problem. But I'm saying, I'm actually content because I'm creating something exciting. So yeah, but you don't.
You should listen. I tell you, I'll give you some. I'll say, give the guys some good advice. I'll give the audience some good advice. You should feel the pain. There is no light without dark. God doesn't give you light without the dark. You will never enjoy these moments in your life if you don't experience the dark, and if you don't eat shit, and if you don't sit there and go, I'm missing out on some of this shit. Fuck, I missed out on summer. But guess what? Next year, you're going to be in summer. You're going to be in Positano. You're going to be in Mykonos. You're going to be somewhere crazy. And you're going to be like, fuck yeah, I worked hard for this. Thank God. You're going to go, wow. If you go there every year, it's like the same old, same old.
The desire also, the value declines.
And it does.
Yeah, it does.
It does. I've made some purchases recently. And I tell you now, those purchases only mark the efforts I've made in my life to get there. The things themselves don't mean shit to me. This watch, my car, whatever, doesn't mean shit. It only means the thing that got me there.
Yeah.
But I don't care of the things. I can take them all off and whatever. That's all cool. But it's nothing more than just marking a journey, because you want to mark the journey in the ways that you want to mark them. And who gives a fuck about what people think? People will say this and that. But you gotta. I became really good at eating shit. I became so good at it. I just smiled on my face. No one knew. My friends were like, what are you doing? You're driving around a Mazda. I had a Mazda 3 for 13 years.
Wow.
Up until last June last year, I had my Mazda 3. June last year.
Wow.
And I've had 2 other cars. I've bought 2 other
But
cars.
what's wrong with
since
that Mazda? I love Mazdas.
That Mazda was my best
For
friend.
best, yeah. Like it didn't give you any trouble. It was low cost, low maintenance.
The worst was like, fuck, my car's not working. I had someone repair it. They're like, Jay, it's going to be $400. I'm like, take my money. Like,
Yeah, it's easy.
because I had $512 in my account, so $400. I was like, no problem,
Yeah.
So like, yes, best friend I ever had. I had a hole in the back seat here because I used to wear suits and this belt would like rub onto the seat. So there was this hole in his seat. And so I'd always try and cover it when I came out of the door if someone was standing there. But like, you don't, you got to enjoy those moments, because once this side comes, it's like, okay, then it's just like, how much more?
Yeah.
And it's like, how much more? And then you play that game, and that's cool. It's a cool game to play, but you only get that one moment. You only get that moment once in your life. So while you're eating shit and you're not going to Europe and you're not going on these holidays, you're not going on these trips, it'll taste so much sweeter when you do finally go on that trip.
And you achieved it.
And it's worth it. It's worth every second of that sacrifice,
Thanks. Well, that was my next question. That's how we're going to wrap it up. I was like, what is your advice to the audience for them to be their best self and that's achieving their goals and going through shit and then achieving their success, or maybe not even achieving their success, What would be your best advice? And you said it was don't give up. That was one. And what was the other one?
So actually, so in terms of, so it's don't give up, and understand that there's no light without dark, right? But what I would say to you on that is be 100% truthful to yourself and honest out there. I was giving some advice to a friend of mine who's become an agent recently. He says, Jace, if you had your time again, what would you do different? I said, I would be absolutely fucking honest. I used to go into people's houses and say, your house is fantastic, Joanne. Oh, this is beautiful. Oh, people
But
gonna
you
love
didn't
this.
think that.
No, I did not. Why is I go into people, I tell, like, people ask me for my feedback on a house. What do you think? You want my honest answer? I said, you've got too many bedrooms upstairs. I said, you've crammed too much in this space. I said, your next project, I said, you need to have a master wing that looks like this. You need to have less space up there. You need to have more light coming in with the skylights. You've got no room for light on either side because you've got room to room more. I go, you've maximized your space, but I go, what $4 million buyer is going to come in and go, you know what? I would spend $4 million on this to have a fucking bedroom that's this small. Nobody. So you're going to lose that part of the market. So now your $4 million that you're hoping for is going to be 3.8. Sorry to tell you, but that's how it is. And I would just be 100% truthful like that. I would go back and I would have I would have been a really successful real estate agent if I was just truthful like that from the start. But you get into this, I'm worried, what are they going to think of me? But you can't give a fuck about the people that don't want to fuck with you. There are people that are going to love your honesty and you're straight up and you shake their hand and you're a man and you show, as a woman or as a man, you shake their hand, you say, your house is a piece of shit, or this part of your house is a piece of shit, but we can do this and this and this to mask it or cover it up or do this or do that to help you out. But that's going to be addressed. That's going to be a talking point. So take that with, in whatever industry you are in, but you can't be afraid to not be liked. And so being truthful is the best way to do that. And so just be 100% honest and be 100% honest to yourself. Are you making the traction that you're making? Yes, no. What am I not doing? I'm not doing this. Okay, well, if I'm not doing this, what should I be doing? And just having that self-awareness and just keep going. And if you know you're on the right path, just keep going. That's it. Your time will come.
Love it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate you.
And it was nice to meet you as well.
It was lovely to meet you. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for tuning into the Be Thyself podcast. Thanks to Jason for all his advice today. And we look forward for our next podcast.
Me too.
See ya.
See ya.
Bye.